PCN is brought to you in part by the following underwriters.
Welcome to another week of PACTV Community News with some great stories tonight from Kingston, Duxbury, Pembroke, and Plymouth.
That's right, Larry. We bring you to a history lecture and walking tour from Plymouth, a film showcase in Duxbury, and an interactive classroom in Kingston.
PCN visits a youth at art reception from the Plymouth Center for the Arts, and we learn some cat care tips from a new business owner called Kitty's Corner.
We're very excited to bring you a new series tonight called Get a Life with local columnist Loretta LaRoche on set. It's a full show, and we begin in Pembroke with a family-owned business that is a pillar in the community for service and support. Before each episode of PCN, we mentioned the underwriters of our program. Because we are a non-commercial enterprise, those underwriters help us to deliver you, the viewers, the solid community programming that we have done every week for the past 3 years. PCN's Brian Sullivan met up with a local business that has been underwriting us from day one, while being an institution of the community service in the town of Pembroke for nearly 40 years.
Heading up this little nondescript stretch of Route 53, there are certain landmarks that may catch your eye. Maybe it's the pink wagon for the Dairy Twist, or just across the street, the auto glass place that's been in town for nearly 40 years.
It just started, it just kind of, it was something I liked to do, and I liked building hot rods and cars, and at the time I had no money, so you had to go scrounge everything in the junkyard, so it started there, and then pretty soon we started taking windshields off for this person, that person, used ones, of course.
It's really the all-American story in that it started out a father and his sons out in the junkyard rummaging for glass, and now they're a flourishing business with 6 vans out on the road at any given time, and they still haven't forgotten where they came from. The business is now run by Peter and Eddie, 2 of Tiny's 3 sons, giving him more time to enjoy his restored hot rods. His 2 boys, however, haven't forgotten the importance of being part of the community.
You do things not always for recognition, but you're part of, the town. So you help out here and there. Like any chance we ever get together, all right, we'll do something for the food pantry. Tell people if they come and bring something.
Every business that comes into Pembroke, the first thing they should do is get involved in the community, because that's where their customer base is.
As a board member of Pembroke's Chamber of Commerce, Peter keeps his finger on the pulse of the town's business and social community. Tiny still meets up with the Dull Men's Club, and it's all part of staying in touch with the town they love.
So we try to get involved as much as possible with everything that the customer is involved in. A lot of our customers that come in, they do a lot of community service, so we try to find out what they're involved in so that we can help.
Of course, the business doesn't run itself, but without the people in this town, it may not run at all. That's something they feel is a reflection of the solid relationship that they've maintained with the community for all of these years.
People, hopefully they think of us as not just about auto glass, but maybe a community business that gets involved, and if they have a problem, they know they can come to us and we get it fixed for them.
For PCN in Pembroke, I'm Brian Sullivan.
Larry, as a Pembroke resident, I can tell you they are the epitome of a community business. They are involved in and contribute to so much in our town, from youth to the elderly and everywhere in between. They're just amazing. The Brown family has done more for Pembroke than probably any other family, and we're so proud of them.
And they are so involved with the community.
All the time.
Good to hear that.
Yep, they're great.
Good to know that. I like that.
I like it too.
Plymouth is filled with rich pilgrim history, as we in the area all know. There are more stories to be told as well, and author Andrea Daly developed a walk and drive tour book outlining Plymouth's anti-slavery reformers and activists. It's a fascinating story of Abby Morton Diaz, who organized schoolgirls to become fundraisers for the cause. Daly recently held an event to introduce her tour and the meaningful history within Plymouth. PCN was there to hear more.
The book that I wrote is The Self-Guided Tour, Abolitionists of Plymouth. And I wrote it because I had been doing some research since the 1990s in regards to abolitionists that lived here in Plymouth. I first got just an understanding that there was abolitionists, so that made my mind curious as to, you know, who were they and where did they live and just what happened here in Plymouth at that time. So my research began at the Pilgrim Hall Museum, where I found Abby Morton Diaz's interview with one of the magazine editors, and she talked about her life as an abolitionist. She talked about her friends in there. So that helped me get started. And from there, I did further research. I read a lot of books and learned about what abolitionists were here, who visited, read more about them, and brought their stories together for my walking tour. Now, I created a walking tour because there are a lot of homes that are still around of the abolitionists. Where they worshipped, not so much. They've been destroyed and there's only the sites of them at this point. But it's still the history of Plymouth, and I'm trying to bring that together to let people of this generation know that it actually happened is what was important to me. Because I was born and raised here and never heard the stories of abolitionists here in Plymouth. So being a parent as well of 2 children, they were part of this process as well, because I would bring them to the library and do research and, you know, first bring them to the children's portion and have them get their books while I would be on the archives of the Old Colony Memorial looking up ads and different things about the abolitionists. It's difficult to talk about everything that I have researched, and that's something that you know, does bother me at times, because it's like I'm expressing only a portion of really everything that I've learned about these abolitionists. And you know, you don't want to bore people too much into everybody's life and all the intricacies of how they were involved with the abolitionist movement, but it's a taste for them to at least understand who is here and for them to do their own research.
Raja's Ray of Hope is a nonprofit organization that empowers Afghan girls to be educated through schools and life skills. The filmmaker Beth Murphy has long supported the cause and is working to get her film What Tomorrow Brings to the Sundance Film Festival. The film is about Afghan girls who struggle with the traditions and culture and how they can find themselves through the school. The film had a showcase in Duxbury where Raja Jan is a resident.
This is an event based on What Tomorrow Brings, the documentary film that features Razia and her school in Afghanistan, and all the girls and the teachers and the parents and the village elders, everybody who brings this school to life. And we're really excited to be here tonight to be able to share some clips of the film with the public. This is kind of a sneak peek, I'd say, at the film, because it hasn't been released yet. We're just putting the final, editing touches on it, and we'll start submitting it to film festivals later this week, actually. The film What Tomorrow Brings, to me, is really a story of hope and perseverance and incredible change in a place that you might not expect there to be incredible change. And what Razia has done in this very small village in Afghanistan is to really move the needle on an issue. And I think to move the needle on almost any issue is extraordinary, but when you are able to move the needle on an issue that's almost as seemingly, intractable as changing the hearts and minds of conservative Afghan men, I mean, that's really jaw-dropping. And that's what's happened here. I think, so it's very much a story of hope and resilience. And it's one of the things that really, really excites me is that there are good reasons to be optimistic about the future of Afghanistan for girls and their education.
I think represent, it says what tomorrow brings. It really shows the struggle that these students and my teachers and the community is going through, and the growth of these girls, and when they first started, and the difference between them now and then. It's amazing. These girls have grown up, and they have much more desire for better things in life, and which is so heartwarming for me, and it's something that I think they will have much better life than their parents and their mothers and the sisters that they never went to school. We built a school 8 years ago, and we did the first fundraising here in Duxbury, the same place in the Art Center, and now it's 8 years later. We are having first graduating class. There are 7 girls, and for them to continue and get training, we are building an institute for them for midwifery, and that will open next March on the 22nd. I think my core support is from Duxbury and from South Shore, and I think I just always need their help because it is 100% free school for these girls, and now the college is going to be 100% free. So I always appreciate the support, financial support that I get from Duxbury folks, and so that makes my work so much easier, and we can go forward.
As school systems continue to evolve, we've seen a growing number of classes and curriculum designed around technology education. For the past 3 years, Silver Lake Regional High School in Kingston has boasted a very strong program in that department. PCN met up with one of their instructors to get some inside information on this growing educational trend.
Technology education is providing students with a intuitive problem-solving education that allows them to think through the way we use, see, and manage technology in our everyday life. So the goal here is to make a makerspace. And what a makerspace is essentially a place where anyone can come and build whatever they dream of. Whether that's a high-functioning computer or a desk. And so we've got 2 parts to our space, essentially. We've got like that kind of classic build it, think it, do it type space. So it's got the table saw, radial arm saws, band saws, whatever you need to produce something out of a material. Then on the other side, we have more of a graphics, communications, and multimedia lab for digital productions, TV and video. We've got a brand new 3D printer for 3-dimensional design and production. We've got a laser engraver, which you design something and it burns it out. So some pretty cool things of high functioning technology, but then also some old school technology to mix it in so you can dream and then you can build. Kids use a program called Inventor to design an object 3-dimensionally, and then we use the 3D printer to actually print it out. So you can make and invent your own toy on the computer and then print it and make it tangible. And it's actually, physically built and 3-dimensional. So we have a classic woodshop feel, even though we incorporate modern technology into it. And the goal with that is every student needs to know how to problem solve and how to work with their hands, because eventually they're going to be living on their own or they're going to be working on their own. And we can't necessarily teach what tomorrow's technology is, but we can do is provide you with the skills to learn how to use the technology. The end result for my courses is to provide kids with a direction. There's some kids who, college engineering, that's where they should be. So we have a First Robotics Club where we're building full-scale robots that play sports. And some kids get really into that and really invested, and they understand, engineering is where I need to be. But then we've also got some kids who come through and maybe they understand that, college might not be what's for me, but the career and technical field is. And that's totally great, and you're going to do well in it. And so I just encourage kids to find the niche that they belong in.
Plymouth Center for the Arts is holding their 48th annual art show this month. The art show events go through November, and you can find out more at their website. There are many wonderful parts to the show, and it kicked off with the Young at Art reception. Youth ages 6 through 18 participated by showcasing incredible talent. Winners in different age categories were honored with certificates and ribbons, as well as deserved accolades from peers and other artists. PCN was there to bring you this wonderful story.
Today we celebrated art with artists aged 6 to 18. We're in the middle of this beautiful historical building, what used to be the Plymouth Library, and it's usually housing artwork from ages 16 to 100. And once a year we open up the doors for the young artists. And it's wonderful to see the ability and the talent that's in the kids. It's a wonderful way for them to express themselves. Some of the students did artwork more for a purpose this year. Others, they were school assignments that they rocked it. So we're so pleased that we're able to have this here. It's for all young artists on the South Shore. So from the Cape all the way up to Boston, anybody that has a young artist at home, please be on the lookout. We announce it a month in advance, maybe even 2 months in advance. Send your artists to us. We would love to highlight their artwork next year at Young at Art.
It's break dancing giraffe. I made it when I was in 1st grade. It took me about a day to make it at school. It has oil pastel, and you cut this paper out and you glue it on. It's the giraffe.
The name of my piece is Night Pumpkins, and it took a long time to really try to get them to be not perfect pumpkins, to make the shape kind of more realistic and the color, so it didn't look like your everyday jack-o'-lantern pumpkins. I wanted it to look like a real pumpkin that you would see every day.
This piece is titled Profile. What my art teacher told us to do was to get water on our paper and spread it around a little bit, so that make like a shape first before you decided what you were going to do with it. So then I got a certain shape and I was like, what does this look like? And then it reminded me of hair. So I was like, I decided to go with that theme and just like put a person's face around it.
In Search of Hope was something I did with my art class. We wanted to do raise awareness for the migrants in Syria, and so we used them as models, and I saw a photograph of this and I saw the silhouette and I was like, wow, I really like that because it had great contrast. So I used that, and it was originally a sunset, but I kind of took my own spin and put it surrounding them instead of on top, and I added my own little twist to it and stuff. So I had fun with it.
The Plymouth Center for the Arts keeps growing. I worked with the board, very closely with the board, when this was just a dream. And what today is so significant to me is that I and several of those people have now started to back away a little, and new people are coming in, the programs are growing, and events like this children's show are now an integral part of our community.
One of our members thought it would be a good idea to do a youth art show. So that member is Jackie Hill, and she approached Andrew Kuzman and presented the idea, and he agreed, and that was how this all began in 2012. So we've been doing it every year ever since, and it's a great joy for us to be a part of this program, to be a part of the Guild. We just hope that they keep coming, that their artwork we know will improve from year to year, and we want to encourage them to show us what they can do.
What is so wonderful about that piece not only is the beautiful artwork, but how expressive the winners that were introduced spoke. Of a 6-year-old girl up to 18, and it's so wonderful to see not only what they create, but how they can talk about their creations and their process.
And it's so important to be able to express yourself
That well at that young age. Yeah, and have that forum is just wonderful.
And it's
good
I've
for
been in
them.
the building. It's a wonderful place
It's
to
beautiful,
visit. Yeah, and
yes.
there's all kinds of opportunities and activities
Yep.
related to the arts in that building
Yep,
in Plymouth.
another big plus.
Absolutely. With the holidays approaching, many of us travel and need to be sure our beloved pets are cared for and safe. Kingston resident Tanya Fleming opened a new business, the Kitty's Corner. As a pet care specialist, Tanya sat down with PCN to give us some tips on what type of pet does better with boarding versus hiring a cat sitter.
I'm feline aficionada Tanya Fleming, and I'm a cat care specialist. Because we're going into the holiday season, so people are going away, and also people are having friends and family and visitors come to their house. So if they have a cat and they need to figure out what to do, there's really two choices professionally. There's having a cat sitter come to the home or boarding their cat. And really the first step is to decide whether or not you want to have your cat stay somewhere else or stay at home. And it comes down to three different things. It comes down to your cat's personality, no pun intended, their needs, their specific medical care, emotional needs. They're also different. And also your needs. Basically, having a cat sitter is you have a staff person for your cats come to your house to care for their every needs, basically. And it's really great for the cats. It's the least stressful for the cats. It actually might be the least stressful for the owners to some degree. And you have someone come into your home and they visit with your cats. They feed them, clean all the water bowls and dishes, scoop the litter box, make sure they're going to the bathroom. Everything's fine in that way. And they spend a lot of time with the cats. They're basically there to distract the cat from you being gone. Boarding can seem like people say it's more stressful. Actually, it's usually just the car ride. And sometimes the owners can project that stressful energy onto their cats. So there are cats that can go to boarding and they're totally fine. And if they have really nice accommodations, little cuddly, nooky little spots, and someone brings something with their scent on it, that's very important. They can relax. It just changes the whole experience. Cats that do really well boarding would be cats that are indoor predominantly. They don't have a need to get out and roam and get through the windows, and they're relaxed. So the next step is to start asking people if they know anybody who does this, that they can recommend. Recommendations, referrals, like the number one, is like the number one way to know an organization. Recommendations help you find out who you can trust, because the three things that are really important is that someone is trustworthy, is reliable, and really, really loves the cats. So I always tell people, go through a professional service. A lot of people who do boarding and also cat sitters are a part of professional networks. There are organizations, Pet Sitters International is one of these organizations. It's national, might even be worldwide. I think they're trying to expand. And they have pet sitter locators on their websites. So you can go to petsit.com and you can put in the zip code and you can find out who in your area is providing these services, and you can call them and find out if they take care of cats. Another great way to find someone good is to call your local veterinarian and see who they know. If you have a cat caregiver that's really in tune with cats and they can sense anything off, you're always trying to get them on the quickest path to like comfort and relaxation. That is going to make their experience so much better.
PCN is proud to welcome Loretta LaRoche to our set. Loretta, a stress management consultant who uses humor as a coping mechanism, will cover a wide range of topics during her segments with us. Her segment, Get a Life, begins today. Welcome, Loretta.
Oh, thanks. This is so much fun.
Great to have you here.
Well, I'm glad to be anywhere, actually.
There are thousands of topics we could discuss. But let's start with time and busyness and scheduling and what people do nowadays that drives you crazy.
Well, I really can't stand listening to anybody tell me how busy they are anymore. Because how busy are you? I mean, I grew up in a Sicilian family in Brooklyn. I remember my grandmother washing clothes on a board. That's how old I am. I'm a dinosaur. And making sauce from scratch and going to the store and bringing home the groceries and doing everything on her own. And I never saw her behind the stove making a marinara sauce and go, Madonna mia, I'm so busy. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know. Will I have a timer for my workout? I don't.
So she managed her time.
She was, well, of course, but she didn't have all the gadgets and she didn't have the overwhelming need to discuss how busy she was.
Why do we do that?
Because our self-esteem is now predicated on how busy we are. And you have contests with people, you know. And if, in other words, if I meet you downtown, I look exhausted. I'm just practically almost dead. And I have to tell you, oh, I'm so busy. And you'll say, well, we should get together. Oh, I don't know.
I can't.
I have so much to do. I don't know what to do. I'm almost, I'm going crazy. And then you have to counter that with telling me how busy you are, because you're not really listening to anything I'm saying. You're practicing in your head how much you're going to tell me about how busy you are. So then you go, oh, you think you're busy? I'm so much more busy than you are. Now I have to go a little further and add my physical ailments so that I can appear to be much busier.
Right.
So I have to tell you, I have a headache, I have a backache, I have a front ache, I'm on all kinds of medications, I just don't know what to do.
So we still can't get together?
No, we can't get together because I have too many appointments to find out what's the matter with me now because I'm so busy.
Right.
And the sad part about this is the need to fill every moment with something.
Right.
In fact, if you have a few moments, you have to call somebody and tell them that you have a few moments.
I got a minute.
I have a minute. I don't know what to do with myself, so I'm calling you to annoy the heck out of you.
So what do we do to counteract this?
Well, the sad thing is that people don't understand that they're mortal. There is no tombstone in a cemetery that says, did everything, died anyway. You know, you're never going to get out of here alive.
Right.
Every moment is a treasure.
Yeah.
And why are you filling it with so much busyness and so much angst and the possibility of having so many ailments as a result? Because the brain needs space. It needs a sense of expansiveness, like, oh, now I can rest.
Right.
The body needs rest.
Yep.
We are on so many medications in this country. Insomnia is huge. I just read the other day that 8% of the population sleeps well.
Wow. Yeah, I believe it.
And we have all kinds of people on antidepressants.
Yeah.
Because of the misery they feel with the lack of time to have any fun.
So what's the one takeaway you would give to people to start with? I mean, obviously change takes a lot of time and it's habits. So what are some of the little things that we can do in our daily lives to stop
being so busy?
Yes, to stop being so busy.
One thing that's very important is to take at least 5 minutes a day to just sit and be.
Do nothing.
Just be. Just breathe. Mindfulness is making a huge impact on the culture now. I mean, the people that I studied with are now becoming gurus, like John Kabat-Zinn. 5 minutes, just relax and be quiet. You can have an unexpressed thought.
Right, that you don't have to text somebody.
You
or
don't
put
have to
on
tell
Facebook.
anybody, I'm having an unexpressed thought.
Yeah.
And have fun. Fun is the antidote to stress. And it doesn't have to be something that's organized. Become the fun you're seeking.
Okay.
Be fun.
Be fun. And that's how we will leave it today. We're going to be fun.
I
wish
hope
we had
so.
more time, but we're busy.
We're very busy.
We're very busy and we're
Yes.
scheduled. So that's all the time we have today for Loretta, unfortunately. Thank you so much. And we look forward to the next time Loretta will bring us advice on how to get a life.
I might be too busy.
Okay, she might be too busy. Thanks for watching this week's show. Replay times are listed at PACTV.org, and you can find us on YouTube. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter to receive links to all of our stories. See you next week for more PACTV Community News.